Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into the world of customer service. But, we're going way beyond the your call is important to us kind of territory.
Right. It's more
Yeah.
than just those cheesy hold messages, that's for sure.
Exactly. We're going deep, like really deep. We're going to trace how customer service has evolved, from those old school face-to-face chats to the whole tech-driven thing we've got going on now.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it, like how much has changed even in the last decade.
Okay, so picture this. It's 1998, you're at the DMV, the wait time. Let's just say it's measured in geological era.
Oh, man. The DMV, the ultimate test of patience.
Right. And it used to be like that for almost everything, right? Dealing with companies was an ordeal.
Absolutely. And, we tend to think of customer service as this one interaction, like that moment at the DMV counter. But it's so much bigger than that. It's really about every touch point a company has with you, from the moment you even hear about their product.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's not just about fixing a problem, it's the whole experience, right?
Exactly. Think about it. Installation, training, even figuring out how to get rid of something when you're done with it.
Yeah.
It's all part of that customer service umbrella.
It's the whole journey. But going back to the DMV, that's actually a perfect example of how technology has kind of saved the day.
Oh, for sure. I
Ugh.
mean, can you imagine having to physically go to the DMV for every little thing now?
I can't even. It would be chaos. So much of it is online now. It's kind of amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that shift toward automation has been huge. I mean, we're living in the age of AI chatbots and virtual assistants, all promising to make our lives easier.
Which, of course, leads to the question, do they actually make our lives easier? Or is that just what they want us to think?
That's the million-dollar question, right? We've definitely got to separate the hype from reality there.
For sure. So we'll be exploring the benefits of all this automation, but also, acknowledging the inevitable limitations. Because let's be real, sometimes you just need to talk to a human.
100%.
Yeah.
And that actually brings up another big question. Why is good customer service so essential in the first place? I mean, is it really more than just making people feel warm and fuzzy?
Right, because if it's just about being nice, is it really worth all the effort? There's got to be a business reason behind it, right?
Oh, absolutely. It goes way beyond just being nice. We're talking bottom line impact, customer retention, loyalty, the whole nine yards.
So it's not just about making friends, it's about making money.
Exactly. One positive customer service experience can completely change how someone views a company. It can be a total game changer.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like when you find a brand with amazing customer service, you almost feel obligated to tell everyone you know, right? Like, you gotta try this company, their customer service is incredible.
Precisely. It's like this weird sense of loyalty. And on the flip side, one bad experience can send people running for the hills.
Oh yeah, word of mouth can be brutal,
Yeah.
especially in the age of online reviews.
It's true. One negative review can spread like wildfire. So yeah, companies really can't afford to mess around with customer service these days.
It's definitely not something to be taken lightly. It makes me wonder, though, with all this talk about automation and AI chatbots, can they really replace that human touch?
It's the age-old question, isn't it? Will robots take over the world? Or at least the customer service industry?
Right. It's like AI can answer basic questions, sure. But what happens when you've got a really complex issue? Or what about empathy?
That's the thing about humans, isn't it? We crave that connection, that understanding, especially when we're already frustrated or stressed. And sometimes you just need another human who gets it.
Totally. Like sometimes you just need to vent to someone who understands.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And that's why we're seeing this fascinating push and pull between wanting the efficiency of AI, but also needing to keep that human touch. It's a tricky balance to strike.
It's funny. I was reading about this company, and they're actually doing like at-home customer service. Yeah, like they'll send someone straight to your living room to help you with a product if you need it. Wild, right?
Wow, that's something else. Talk about above and beyond. But, it shows you how much things are changing. Like, customer expectations are so different now.
Totally. It's like companies have to adapt or they're going to get left in the dust.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what those customer service gurus from like the 80s would think about all this. Back when it was all about smiles and thank you notes.
Right. It's a whole different ballgame now. Like, these days, companies are getting seriously strategic about how they measure customer service, how it impacts their bottom line, all that.
Yeah, it's not just about being nice anymore, is it?
Not even close. We're talking about hard data. Customer retention rates, net promoter scores, all that jazz.
Net promoter scores. That rings a bell. It's like, how likely are you to recommend this company to a friend?
Exactly. Companies are obsessed with that stuff now, and they're using it all to make decisions to improve their service.
So it's like they're analyzing every single interaction, trying to squeeze out every little bit of insight.
Pretty much. But it's not just about collecting the data, it's what you do with it,
Mm.
right? Like, are you actually using it to make things better for your customers?
That's got to be the goal, right? So it's about really understanding your customer, like inside and out, anticipating what they need before they even ask.
You got it. It's
Okay.
all about being proactive, creating those wow moments.
Those wow moments, I like that. Because when you have a wow moment with a company, you remember it.
Exactly. And you tell other people about it. Free advertising.
The best kind of advertising.
Yeah.
But speaking of the online world, it's crazy how much it's changed the whole definition of customer service. I mean, it's not just about those face-to-face chats or even phone calls anymore, right?
Not even close. Email, online chat, social media, those are all battlegrounds for customer service now.
Oh, yeah. And it's 24/7 now. You can tweet at a company at 3:00 a.m. and get a response.
Exactly. We've become so accustomed to that instant gratification, which, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it does make you appreciate the sheer amount of work that goes into making it all happen.
Yeah, there's a whole ecosystem back there.
Oh.
Whole team of people making sure those tweets get answered.
For sure. And managing expectations and putting out fires left and right.
It's a tough job. And speaking of tough jobs, we talked about AI earlier, and it made me think about this article I read. It was talking about how some companies are using AI to personalize the customer experience. Like it learns from your past interactions so it can anticipate your needs.
It's like having your own personal customer service genie, right? That's the dream.
Right. But it's kind of ironic, isn't it? Like we're using technology to create a more human touch.
It is kind of funny when you think about it that way. But it makes sense, right? Like we're all so used to having technology at our fingertips. It's only natural that it would become part of the customer service experience, too.
So it's not really about replacing humans with robots. It's about finding ways for them to work together, kind of like a dynamic duo.
Exactly. Like Batman and Robin, but for customer service.
I love it. But, we've talked a lot about what customer service is and how it's changing, but why does it even matter so much? I mean, can't a company just rely on having an amazing product?
Well, here's the thing. In the past, maybe a killer product was enough. But nowadays, there's so much competition.
So many choices. It's overwhelming.
Right. So if your experience with one company is just meh, you're going to go somewhere else.
Makes sense. So customer service is all about standing out, right? Like becoming memorable for the right reasons.
You nailed it. It's a differentiator. And a big one.
And it's about loyalty, right? Like if a company treats you well, you're more likely to stick around.
Absolutely. It's way cheaper to keep an existing customer than to find a new one. That's what they say anyway.
Makes sense to me. Okay, so we've established that good customer service is good for business. But what about the people on the front lines? We haven't really talked about the customer service reps themselves. It's true. We kind of forget sometimes that there's an actual human being on the other side of that phone call or email.
Yeah.
And they're dealing with, not always the most cheerful people all day long.
Like a special kind of person, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the skills it takes. Patience, empathy, the ability to stay calm even when someone's yelling at you.
Yeah, you've got to have thick skin for this job.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And you can't just be reading from a script, right? You have to be able to think on your feet.
Oh, for sure. You need to be able to handle whatever gets thrown at you.
Exactly. And that's why the best customer service reps, they're like problem-solving ninjas. They can de-escalate a situation, find a creative solution, and leave the customer feeling heard, all while, maintaining their sanity.
It's a real art form when you think about it, which, of course, brings us back to AI.
Oh, here we go again.
Right. Like, is this the end of the line for human customer service reps? Are there robots coming for their jobs?
Well, it's the question on everyone's minds, right?
Yeah.
And sure, AI can handle those simple, repetitive tasks. But when you've got a really hairy situation, something that requires, emotional intelligence.
You still need a human for that.
Exactly. You need that human touch.
Yeah.
That ability to read between the lines, to understand what the customer really needs, even if they can't articulate it themselves.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not really an either-or situation. It's not humans versus robots.
It's more like, how can humans and AI work together?
Yeah.
How can they complement each other to create this like super-powered customer service experience.
I like the way you think. It's like, remember when we were talking about those at-home customer service visits earlier? That's a perfect example. Maybe it's AI that flags the issue, analyzes the data, and then says, okay, this customer needs a real live human to show up at their door.
Right. And then the human rep can swoop in with that personal touch, that empathy, and save the day.
It's like a customer service tag team.
I love it. We need a catchy name for that.
Yeah.
Operation Human Touch, maybe.
I'm sure we'll workshop it. But seriously, it's like we've come full circle. We started by talking about how everything's moved online, how automation is king, but now we're realizing that, those human connections, they still matter, maybe even more than ever.
It's true. And I think the companies that understand that, the ones that find that sweet spot between automation and the human touch, those are the ones that are going to thrive.
Because at the end of the day, we're all just humans trying to connect with each other,
I
right?
couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We really have. We've gone from the DMV to AI-powered customer service ninjas.
It's been quite a journey. So, for anyone listening, we hope you learned a thing or two about the ever-changing world of customer service.
And who knows, maybe next time you have a wow moment with a company, you'll remember this conversation and think, huh, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than I realized.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep demanding better customer service.
Because you deserve it.